Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Cincinnati Business Courier, is Cincinnati's corporate giant headed into some troubled times? We'll tell you why some financial analysts are concerned about P&G's future. UC is looking to save costs while keeping important medical research going. And Cincinnati's Minority Business Accelerator welcomes its first member south of the river. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning. Welcome back to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Brian Patrick. On the Business Courier's front page this week, P&G under fire. It's been a long time since Procter & Gamble felt this kind of heat from the street. P&G has lowered its second quarter profit estimates for 2012, resulting in a torrent of criticism from financial analysts. P&G shareholders are reportedly frustrated with the lackluster stock price. It's hovered between $60 and $70 per share for most of the last 5 years. The analysts say there needs to be a dramatic change in the way the Cincinnati-based consumer goods company does business. In October, P&G announced a $1 billion cost-cutting restructuring, but critics say more needs to be done. Some of their suggestions include even deeper cuts, the spinning off of brands or divisions into smaller publicly traded companies, and an end to P&G's hire-from-within corporate culture. Business Courier senior reporter Dan Monk reported this story. He joins editor Rob Dahlmeyer with more insight. Gentlemen?
Brian, thanks, and Dan, thanks for being here. With apologies to all the other big companies in town, P&G really does occupy a different stratosphere than anyone else. They've got thousands of local employees, $174 billion market cap. But this is a company in transition, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really interesting right now what's happening with P&G. They've gone, or they're going from a U.S.-centric company that depended on their marketing skill and innovation to get consumers to spend more and more on their products, and they're transitioning into a company whose future really is going to depend on finding new customers in developing countries. You know, China, India, Africa, and Latin America are the places where they're now looking for business, and it's a whole different kind of market. Lower price competitors, smaller competitors are tending to do well there, and analysts are getting frustrated over P&G's strategy. They think the strategy is right. They don't think P&G is moving fast enough to accomplish it. P&G's
really made a big mark in some of their top shelf items, really. They've been able to put pretty good price premiums on their products. Right. But is that part of the problem? Do analysts see maybe they're spending too much emphasis on those more expensive products? It
is part of the problem, and the entire cost structure that goes with that whole model is, I think, what analysts are really targeting right now. You know, P&G spends billions on research, billions on marketing, advertising, and there's a lot of overhead that comes with operating these family of, what is it, 22, I think, billion-dollar brands. And so, you know, the cost structure is really what analysts are focusing on when they say you need to cut deeper, you need to spin off brands.
So for employees of Procter & Gamble who obviously have been sort of living through this change that has been going on over the last couple months, when they read these analyst comments, and the analysts that you talked to were pretty firm about their beliefs, how does P&G, how do the muckety-mucks at P&G react to that? What do they tell you?
P&G says they talk to their investors all the time. They talk to these analysts all the time. They're communicating a strategy that they're trying to follow, and they think they're doing a good job, and they cite signs of progress. But at the same time, they recognize, I think, that the criticism is there. And later this month, there's a big investor conference that's planned, and P&G has promised more detail. Some think they're going to announce some deeper restructuring programs, and so you know, the issue isn't over. P&G is going to be addressing this in the months ahead,
and I'm sure we will be addressing it at the Courier as well. So thanks for being here, Dan.
Thanks.
Brian, back to you.
All right, Rob and Dan, thank you. Also on the front page this week, the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine is looking for ways to cut costs in a tough environment for research funding. The college is restructuring its research operations to focus on areas where it's strong, including neuroscience and diabetes. UC's College of Medicine faces a $10 million shortfall in the current fiscal year because of the after effects of the recession and reduced funding from the National Institutes of Health.
So by increasing our clinical margins, by working more efficiently, by looking to alternate funding streams such as industry relations and other sort of things, and then philanthropy, we're hoping to offset the losses the government is facing and that we're facing because of it.
In all, UC and its affiliate, Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, received $418 million in research funding for fiscal 2011. That's down $25 million from the year before. Cincinnati's hospital groups are looking for ways to rebrand what they do. These groups are anticipating a time when the federal government and private insurers reward them for managing patients' health over long periods. So they want their names to communicate their ability to do just that. TriHealth this week started a major rebranding campaign to emphasize its corporate moniker over the identities of its individual properties. The campaign includes a new logo and TV, radio, and print spots. It also features a tagline, "Discover the Power of Unity." In addition to Good Samaritan and Bethesda North hospitals, the TriHealth system includes several other business lines, including primary care and specialty physician offices, outpatient testing centers, and physical therapy. Small businesses, or other local systems, I should say, that have updated their branding, including UC Health, St. Elizabeth Healthcare, and Mercy Health. Small businesses have a new friend when it comes to lending. Alliance Business Lending was started by Florence businessman John Kane and former U.S. Bank executive Jerry Kohlhepp. The asset-based lender has $100 million to lend to small businesses and hopes to make its first loan by April. The idea took hold based on Kane's experience in the electric and plumbing supply business.
A lot of distributors were, their banking relationships were falling apart. Working capital was hard to get, and at the same time, the news stories were there's a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines, and it just didn't make sense that you had cash sitting on the sidelines and viable businesses having trouble accessing a working capital.
Whereas a typical bank loan will be looking almost totally at a company's cash flow. We will look at company's cash flow, but we will take higher risk, and probably with companies with higher leverage than what a bank will.
Alliance's loans will be backed by accounts receivable and inventory, with the small business's assets serving as the insurance policy. One of downtown Cincinnati's largest office buildings will be sold at a sheriff's sale March 1st. The 580 building is a 480,000 square foot office complex in the heart of Cincinnati's central business district. It's been in foreclosure since last spring. Investors failed to make the final installment payment on the note due January 1st, according to court documents. The building's former anchor tenant, Great American Insurance Company, left that building for the new Great American Tower last year. The vacancy rate at the 580 building is now at 73%. A new Butler County shopping mall, which has been compared to Easton Town Center in Columbus, is one step closer to reality. Steiner & Associates has purchased 52 acres in Liberty Township for its planned $300 million mixed-use development called Liberty Town Square. Butler County and Liberty Township also approved a memorandum of understanding for the project this week. Much remains to be done before dirt can be turned, but Liberty Township's Economic Development Director says this is another step in the right direction. Steiner wants to begin construction by the end of 2012 and open the development by 2014. Cincinnati's Minority Business Accelerator has added 3 minority-owned firms to its group of companies, including the program's first Northern Kentucky business. The Minority Business Accelerator is an economic development initiative housed at the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber that's focused on growing sizable minority-owned firms. Sterling Print Solutions is a commercial printer in Newport. It was formed in July 2011 by Charlie McGregor and Mark Hicks, 2 veterans of the printing industry. The partners say they're looking to the accelerator to help introduce the firm to more local corporations that could become clients.
Also, their guidance and help on structure, strategic growth with some of the larger corporations in town, as well as long-term, how can we continue to grow and provide economic growth locally here in the economy.
Environmental and Safety Solutions, Inc. and Auntie's Homemade Foods are the other new additions to the Minority Business Accelerator. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, work has resumed at the Horseshoe Casino site after last week's construction accident. And don't buy your NFL jersey for next year just yet. Changes may be coming. news you may have missed if you're not reading the Business Courier online every day. Construction work has now resumed on parts of the Horseshoe Casino, Cincinnati. At least 11 construction workers were hurt last Friday when the floor on a 60-foot by 60-foot area of the casino under construction collapsed while they were pouring concrete. A steel support under the floor appeared to give way, sending the workers sliding about 30 feet through wet concrete into the mud below. Fortunately, none of the injuries were life-threatening. The sale of Northgate Mall to a Dallas-based commercial real estate company is off for now. Tabani Acquisitions, which had an option to purchase the Colerain Township Mall, has terminated its agreements to the mall and the former Dillard site. In addition, a contract between Tabani and the owner of a 9-acre parcel next to the mall has also been terminated. No reason given, but discussions are reportedly continuing between Tabani and all parties with plans to reinstate the agreements. P&G is expecting a $500 million sales boost from the dozens of Olympic marketing initiatives this year, according to company officials. For the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, 32 P&G brands are planning to sponsor 150 athletes from all over the world. P&G's impact from the 2010 Winter Olympics was estimated at about $100 million when 18 P&G brands sponsored U.S. athletes who competed in Vancouver. If you were thinking about buying an NFL jersey sometime soon, you might want to hold off for a couple of months. The NFL is reportedly switching its jersey contract from Reebok to Nike in April. That could mean some dramatic changes to the jersey styles are coming this offseason. But Bengals officials said in a tweet last week that no adjustments will be made to the current uniforms. January cheered up plenty of investors as stocks cranked out their best opening months since 1997. The S&P 500 rose 4.4%, doubling its return for all of 2011. So, what were the 10 best performing Greater Cincinnati stocks in January? Take a look. At number 1, LCA Vision, followed by Air Transport Services Group, General Cable, Lighting Systems, and the Bank of Kentucky. Rounding out the top 10, Seco at number 6, AK Steel was 7, Cincinnati Bell 8, Ashland number 9, and Chemed at 10. For more on these companies, you can visit our website, cincinnatibusinesscourier.com. So, how do you decide in which stocks to invest? In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, U.S. Bank investment analyst Jim Russell joins us. We're talking about growth stock versus value stock. A lot of buzz about these stocks now. The financial markets, perhaps a change in the tone from the growth stock to the value stock.
Brian, that's right on target. What we're seeing, frankly, in the marketplace these days is a shift from growth stocks to value stocks. That shift started to get underway in the fourth quarter of 2011 and continues on a year-to-date basis. Let me back up for just a second. Definitionally, a growth stock is a company that maybe is less sensitive to the economic cycles. A Procter & Gamble and Abbott Laboratories. A value stock is one that is very much tied to the economic cycles. AK Steel would be a good example.
A little more stability in the value stocks. What drives the growth stocks and now this year the value stocks?
It's a good question. It is the perceived strength of the economy. We're starting to get signals, and began to get them a couple of months ago. We're starting to get signals more clearly now that the economy is on stable footing and is starting to grow in the United States, and importantly, maybe on a global basis as well. So a clear change from last year.
Big news this week was the unemployment figures.
Absolutely. The unemployment figures look fantastic. We received word on Friday the unemployment rate declined from 8.5 to 8.3. About 250,000 jobs were formed in the month of January. And importantly, getting back to the stability issue just a second ago, the months prior were revised much higher, and both manufacturing, which is so important to Ohio and Cincinnati in particular, and the service sector showed great growth in the employment statistics.
The other big news, Facebook is going public. 28-year-old Mark Zuckerberg is not going to give up control, though.
Right. Right. A lot of buzz about that, Brian, as you know. Facebook is a real company. 845 million global users, 60% market share here in the United States. 60% of the people who are on the internet in the United States and in the UK use Facebook. And that figure in South America is 80%. In China, interestingly, it's 0 because of government oversight. They have made $1 billion last year, and it does look like that the IPO will be operative in May of this year. earlier, it will be priced for perfection, so buyer beware in terms of actually participating in the stock itself.
That'll be one to watch. Thank you,
sir.
Jim. Still to come on U.S. Bank Business Watch, healthcare reform. If you own or work for a small business, we'll answer some questions about the upcoming changes that will impact you. And if your company had a great 2011, participate in our Fast 55 program. It's an annual publication and event recognizing the fastest growing private companies in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. For more information, you can visit our website or call Lisa Mullenkamp at 513-337-9467. Finalists will be recognized June the 9th. And congratulations to Kelly Dolan, CEO of Engage Partners, one of our 40 Under 40 honorees. Healthcare reform is one of those issues many small businesses just don't want to deal with. But as the Affordable Care Act takes effect, they're going to have to learn fast and take steps to prepare their businesses and their employees for the changes ahead. Many small business owners, typically with 50 or fewer employees, don't employ a full-time HR or benefits manager to help them navigate these changes. Because there are thousands of small businesses in our region providing jobs to hundreds of thousands of people, we've invited Jim Schwab, President and CEO, and Kate Keller, Senior Program Officer for the Health Foundation of Greater Cincinnati, to join us this morning to talk about the Affordable Health Care Act. They're with U.S. Bank Business Watch's Kelly Leon.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, both of you, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Jim, let's start with the obvious question, which I think a lot of people don't know. What is the Health Foundation of Greater Cincinnati?
The Health Foundation has been in existence since the late 90s. It was created following the sale of Choice Care, which was a physician HMO. Today, we're in the business of doing really three things: research, grant making, and education. And we have focus areas, four focus areas: community primary care, school-based health centers, severe mental illness, and substance abuse. And we have added to that a lot of work in the healthcare reform or healthcare transformation area as the Affordable Care Act comes into play and all the healthcare reform or transformation activities go on in our community and really in our region and really across the country.
And this is something that everyone has access to. You're not for a certain group of people, or?
Yes, we're a nonprofit organization, and we make grants to other nonprofit organizations, to governmental organizations. We service a 20-county region around the Cincinnati area, including northern Kentucky and southeastern Indiana, as well as Ohio. So our mission is to improve the health of the people of the greater Cincinnati region. So we're broad and within that context of 20 counties.
Okay, and specifically for healthcare reform, how is your organization, the Health Foundation, gearing up to tackle this issue?
Sure. So one of the things we've done through our research work is understand that 7 out of 10 adults in our region don't know how the healthcare reform law, the Affordable Care Act, is going to affect them personally.
Yeah.
So with that knowledge, we created a public education program to talk to consumers about how the law is going to affect them personally. And with that, we created a website called reform.healthfoundation.org, where people can go and look up their own situation to find out how the law is going to affect them. And through that work, we've identified that small businesses are a part of our community that really lack access to information because they don't have an HR benefit person. And they want to know how the law is going to affect them. And there's some benefits that are currently in place that they should know about. So we've created a small business initiative where we're going to be talking to local businesses, chambers, and having some events at the foundation to invite small business owners to come and learn about the law and to know what opportunities they have or what requirements they might have to have.
And I know in the next several months on this program, we're going to be giving some tips to help small businesses. But what should small business owners be doing right now? Is there anything that they should be doing to start preparing for this?
There's actually one major benefit in the law right now around the tax credit. So if you're a small business with under 50 25 employees, there are tax credits available for them to up to 35% of what they pay for their premiums. So they really should look at their work, how many full-time employees they have, and if they qualify for these and they provide insurance for their employees, then they should submit and get that tax credit.
Okay, and let's put up your website on the screen so people can see, because just, you know, honestly, just listening to the two of you, it is overwhelming for small business owners, people that work for a small business. Everyone's thinking, what's going to happen? So this is a place where you can go to get more information. And as I said, we'll have you back on in the weeks ahead with some tips. But we appreciate you coming on this morning to just kind of get us thinking, because this takes effect 2014.
Many of the things are already in effect, such as the tax credits for small businesses, but bigger changes come in 2014.
Okay, all right. Well, great. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Brian?
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly, Kate, and Jim. And stay with Local 12 all morning long. CBS Sunday Morning is next, followed by Face the Nation at 10:30 and Local 12 Newsmakers with Dan Hurley at 11. Thanks for joining us this morning for U.S. Bank Business Watch. We'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on Local 12. For more business news all week long, visit the Business Courier online and sign up for our daily emails. Our address is cincinnatibusinesscourier.com. To watch this program online, go to our website, scroll about 1/3 of the way down to inside the Business Courier and click on Business Watch. I'm Brian Patrick. Thanks for being with us this morning. Have a great Sunday and a good week.